Hi, welcome, and if you're new to this is the FMQ, the 5-minute podcast that tries to break down the complicated into simples. Because in simplicity there's genius. Lots of small snippets of advice where you can really learn to change the life you want and increase everything about you, to live your life to your full potential. It's 5 minutes, and it's with me, Paul Clough. I'm a hypnotist, a trainer of NLP, trainer of hypnosis, and lots of other stuff with the mind. So just enjoy. And if you want deeper stuff, go to the longer podcast. And there's a mass of information here. But all you have to do is enjoy. It might be just the difference that makes a difference. Heads up to this FMQ. So you want the old you back, yeah? I hear it so many times. Have a listen to my story about my old me. It might change your mind.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal development unplugged.
I want the old me back. That's the thing I hear from so many of my clients. I want the old me back, Paul. I really want to be my old way. And that sounds so bloody positive, doesn't it? I really want to be the old me. Because the old me was so good. Well, that's a little bit like the good old days. Because the good old days really weren't that good. But you see, there's also that saying, you're here, by the way. Wherever you go, you're here. You know, I went away to look for myself. Well, guess what? You were there. But they didn't find themselves. Why? They just didn't see themselves, did they? A little personal story, if I can share with you. I've told it a little bit before, but not in this way. Some of you may have remembered or may remember that I used to have I did have a little dark period in my life. Things happened and, shit happens occasionally. And it did big time. And I know I wasn't being the real me. I felt totally lost in that period. Totally lost. I was doing stuff that, when I look back now, was incredibly sad. And I can understand why I felt lost. I even remember thinking, I don't even know who I am. And I just knew I wasn't really being me, but I didn't know how to be me. I knew I was searching for something, but I didn't know what I was searching for. It even came to me that, I've talked about this before. I wrote a book about that particular time in my life and what I did to get over it. It's called, it doesn't have to be this way. If you search for something like my name and it doesn't have to be this way, it's a free book. It's a little download. It's written terribly in English, or terrible English. Punctuation is not brilliant, I have to say. The grammar is not good, but it's there. Anyway, this is not a plug for that. The thing is, I didn't write it. I dictated it. I bought a recording studio type thing and a little 8-track. I just recorded on one track my voice and I went through it. But the thing was, and I just realized it the other day, that I wrote it as if we were talking about my best friend. I didn't even talk about it as if it was me. That's how distant I was from being me. It wasn't until some kind person actually said, Paul, it's so obvious it's not your best friend, it's you. Well, he actually was my best friend because he's inside. But it's just the metaphor of that. But you're not talking through your own voice, your own eyes. You're not being you, talking about you. That hit pretty hard. And I know I had this fixation of looking for the old me. I remembered or seemed to have these memories of what the old me was like. I even went on my trainer's training to become a trainer of NLP, talking to people about this particular issue. They knew I was having a rough time because they're such an intuitive and kind bunch of people. They looked after me and they they spent time to talk to me and listen to me. And it was as if I was just saying to them, I'm really sorry, but this isn't me. I'm really looking for the old me again. And they kept saying, well, I don't know what you're talking about, Paul, because we quite like the you in front of us. When you let us see you, and you don't do it every day. You don't do it all the time in the day. You hide. But when you let us in and let us see the real you, we're seeing the real Paul. And I knew I had to learn something, and then I did. I didn't need the old Paul back. What? The old you? The old me, Paul? You didn't want him back? No, I didn't want him back. Because I suddenly realised I didn't want the old Paul. I wanted the real Paul. The real Paul that when I did open up to others and show people the real Paul, that was the real Paul. Congruent, aligned, genuine, singing from my own voice, my own heart. Showing up as the real Paul. The old Paul had all the stuff that connected me to that old dark place and other dark places. And I wanted the real Paul that had the learnings from those times, but not reliving them, not dragging them, not pulling them around. Because, you can, hanging on to things can be more painful than letting go. It's interesting, isn't it? Hanging on to things can be more painful than just letting go. And that's what I did. Still a work in progress. And I guess it always will be, because I will always be just showing a little bit more each day, hopefully. Showing and sharing with you. So you had a glimpse, and you've had probably lots of glimpses now of the real Paul. Hope you like him. I have a lovely process which I may well do on the paulcloughonline.com/podcast. We're all up at those, put all those hypnosis tracks. But I'm going to have to think about that. If it's something you like, please do get in touch with me. You can do that through the email feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. And if it is of interest, I'll maybe do it, because it's a lovely, simple process that helps you come back to the real you, the aligned you, the one with the true core values and beliefs that support you in everything you do. That's something to think about. Anyway, I can explain about that in a minute. But until then, have more fun than you can stand. So many of you are now signing on to the hypnosis tracks at paulcloughonline.com/podcast. Now, why would you want to do that if you haven't done it already? And I want to tell you, because you keep them all in one place. There's no searching. There's no searching through 250 odd podcasts to find that one hypnosis track you want. And because they're all in one place, you can look through them and suddenly see things that you've forgotten about. And you may want to then listen to that type of hypnosis track. It's just, you've got an issue, you can go down that page and you find them. And the good thing about this is you will also receive updates via email of all the latest hypnosis tracks. So if you miss that podcast, you won't miss a hypnosis track. They're all there for you. You'll also get a few little free gifts in hypnosis and discounts onto the bigger programs that I have. It's a simple one-page part of my website with a list of all of those hypnosis tracks, and guess what? They're all downloadable and they're all free. So you get them. All you have to do is sign in to paulcloughonline.com/podcast. It's as simple as that. That was the how, by the way. I know some people are a bit worried about people sharing emails. The reason I'm not is because I don't do it. Don't do it ever. Anyway, if you want all those hypnosis tracks, you want to get updates on your email, and you also want maybe a few free gifts and discounts on the programs, go to paulcloughonline.com/podcast. You'll love it.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.